Alright folks, welcome back to Wilderness Wargaming. Today we're going to take a look at the Warhammer 40,000 Faction Focus Chaos Space Marines article from Games Workshop. This came out last week, late in the week, and we're going to check it out and see what we got here for the Chaos Marines. I'm excited about this one because I have Night Lords as one of my armies, and I'm really hoping that they will do well in the new edition. So without further ado, let's get right into it and see what we've got. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If nothing else, leave us a pound Valkyrie for our pooch. She'd really like it, and click the notifications bell for more great content from Wilderness Wargaming. Death to the False Emperor. Okay, Chaos Space Marines get a bit of a bad rap. Yes, they pledge themselves to diabolical cosmic horrors in search of great power. They do periodically try to overthrow the Imperium's galactic rule, and perhaps have held a bit of a grudge over the last 10,000 years or so, but can we really blame them? Yeah, we can, but that's fine. We can blame their enemies just fine, too. Okay. Unlike their prim and proper cousins, the Heretic Astartes know you need a bit of showmanship in a dark and gloomy galaxy, and their rules in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000 do not disappoint. Well, when it comes to spikes and interesting models, that is for sure. One of my favorite things about the Chaos Space Marines is the really, really neat models that they get. Even when they're not doing so well, they look great on the tabletop. The Venom Crawler in particular is a huge favorite of mine, and my daughter, she really, really likes it too. I'm also a big fan of the Lord Discordant. It's another one. The Heretic Astartes, Demon Prince, all big favorites. Okay. Chaos Space Marines have all the skill and flexibility of their loyalist counterparts, supplemented by forbidden power borrowed from the warp. Sorcerer's Invocations and Terrifying Mutations are yours to command, backed by raging demon engines and hordes of screaming cultists. Such gifts rarely come without a cost, but the boons they grant are worth the risk. And at the end of the day, these are still Space Marines, tough as nails, reliable in a fight, and guaranteed to outmuscle lesser creatures man to man. Okay, faction rules. Alright, Heretic Astartes warbands come in many shapes and colors, but they are united by their willingness to make dark pacts for power. Makes sense. As their army rule, this gives all Chaos Space Marine commanders the opportunity to acquire potent core abilities, if they're willing to cannibalize their troops. So what does Dark Pacts do? Beseeching the Chaos Gods with fanatical fervor, the profane champions of the Heretic Astartes pray for diabolic boons, promising the vilest of offerings in return for their power. If your army is a Heretic Astartes, each time a unit with this ability is selected to shoot or fight, it can make a Dark Pact. If it does, select one of the following abilities for that unit's weapons to gain until the end of the phase. And we have lethal hits, which automatically wound on a 6, or sustained hits, which give you an extra hit on a 6. So you get to pick one or the other. And this is perfectly reliable. You don't have to worry about this working or not working. What you do have to worry about is the second part. Each time a unit makes a Dark Pact, after it has resolved its attacks, it must take a leadership test. If the test is failed, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, I like this a lot. This allows you some choice for whichever one you feel might be more suitable. It doesn't impose the randomness on the end where you get the goodies. What it does is it puts it on the back end, on the consequences. And more often than not, you're probably going to pass the leadership test. So I think you can probably pretty reliably do this all the time. You're just going to want to be careful about units that maybe are about to take a whole lot of damage or which are already very weak, and think about whether or not you need to do it there. But it seems like it's overall got to be better to use it than not use it. You can make as many Dark Pacts as you like during a game, so the only limit is how many souls you want to offer up to the Chaos Gods in return. Even a cultist mob can gain great power through their patron's blessing, turning their scavenger blades into something deadly and profane that can threaten any enemy unit. Okay, that's good to know. Cultists are not going to be left out. Core of any Chaos Space Marine invasion is made up of Legionnaires. Whether they're veterans of the Horus Heresy or more recent renegades, these traders have long since abandoned notions of professionalism and tradition, bring a very eclectic range of equipment to the field. Look at all these weapons options. Okay, so at first glance, the weapons options haven't really changed too much. It's pretty much the same thing. You can arm the champion with melee weapons, or you can switch out his pistol or his bolt gun, I suppose, if you really want to, for a plasma pistol, and mix and match a little bit. The only thing you really can't do is take two plasma pistols. They're all basically the same. You don't have to worry about demon blades anymore. It's just a heavy or an accursed one or a chainsword. But however you have him modeled, that's going to work fine. You don't have to worry too much about WYSIWYG with this. It's any axe or sword or whatever could easily be any of these things. So that's pretty nice. One model can have a chaos icon. You can have as many as you want with chainsword and bolt pistol rather than bolt gun and bolt pistol. You can have one that replaces with one heavy melee weapon in addition to the champion, so that's like the current heavy chain axe option. You can have one with a Balefire Tome, just like now, and then for every 5 models, you can replace a bolt gun with one of the special or heavy weapons there. As long as you just can't have 2 of the same one. So you can still have your, say, Havoc autocannon. You can have the melta gun, the plasma gun, whatever you happen to like. It's the list is the options are not really changed from the current. They in fact I don't think they're changed at all. It's just that the formatting of the list is actually a little more confusing than it is now. I think not terribly so. It's just one of those things that you have to read it 2 or 3 times to make sure you fully grasp it. But it isn't changing that much. So that's a pretty minor nitpick. Marines themselves don't look like they've changed very much. Move 6, toughness 4, save 3 up, 2 wounds, leadership 6 up, which works out about the same as their current leadership. Objective control 2. I don't think the weapons themselves have changed too much, other than that. No, they really haven't. Well, the accursed weapon looks like it's lost their additional attack with that weapon ability. Actually, it looks like the Astartes chainsword has as well, which is kind of interesting. It's not clear to me what the Balefire... Oh, the Balefire Tome does a psychic shooting attack, so it's essentially a smite. That's a little rough. I currently have a way that I use Legionnaires to kind of fill in a certain build as an extra psyker to lay the god-specific power on my Night Lords. That's not going to work anymore, but I'm kind of expecting some of the current combos to go away anyhow, so we're just going to have to improvise and adapt. That's not a real criticism of the abilities or the weapons. That's just me being a little bit selfish there. How's the Havoc autocannon looking? Oh, wow, that's now up to strength 9. It doesn't have as many attacks as... Okay, strength 9, AP -1. So that's kind of a hybrid between anti-vehicle and anti-infantry. Reaper chain cannon looks like it is more attacks and no AP now. That's interesting also. How about the plasma weapons? Haven't changed a lot. No, not a whole lot. The flamer is just the baseline flamer. Okay. So, and Veterans of the Long War. They have this also. Each time a model in this unit targets an enemy unit with a melee attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. Okay. Reroll all wounds rolls of 1 in melee. If they're within range of an objective mark, you can reroll the wound roll instead. Okay, so another reroll. I'm not sure quite how much more rare rerolls are going to be. It seems like they're not going to be super rare. Maybe rarer than they are currently, but not by as much as I may have thought. And that leaves me a little bit of concern, because I don't want to start seeing ignore certain types of reroll abilities like we currently have, because that means some armies can just entirely neutralize major abilities from their opponents. Okay, the Chaos Icon. Each time the bearer's unit takes a leadership test for the dark attacks, you can reroll that. Okay, so you're going to basically almost never be taking mortal wounds on these guys from the Dark Pacts. It's going to, because you're going to get a reroll, and all you have to get is a 6-up. So your chances of that are pretty low. Let's move on. The squad can be kitted out to deal with almost any target, almost any range, whether you want them to shred hordes at range with a Reaper, chain cannon, flamer, and bolt guns, tackle elites up close with roaring chain swords, and a pair of heavy melee weapons. The right Dark Pact can make them better at their chosen task, or help them to further diversify their death dealing. So maybe the additional attacks you don't need as much with the Dark Pacts, which you should basically always be using on these guys because you get that reroll. It takes a strong will indeed to knit fractious legions and renegade warbands into a cohesive combat whole, and Abbadon the Despoiler is just about the only mortal who's ever truly managed it. The War Master of the Imperium Nihilus is generally on par with the Imperial Primarchs, and he's absolute terror in the thick of combat as well. Now, from a lore standpoint, I'm not thrilled about that, because he isn't a Primarch. He's a Space Marine captain who became the War Master after Horus. Now, I guess you could say his long exposure to chaos maybe elevated his abilities quite a bit, but it's not great. However, from a game standpoint, from a play and balance standpoint, yeah, there's nothing wrong with having them up there. Given Chaos their boy that really lets things, really makes things happen for the Chaos Marines. And I guess over 10,000 years, he could have developed quite a bit. So, okay, let's see, what does he got? Movement 5, because he's a Terminator. Um, Toughness 5, save 2 up, wounds 9, leadership 5, objective control 4. Okay. He's got the Talon of Harus, sustained hits 1, so he gets those exploding 6s, 4 attacks, 2 up, strength 5, AP minus 1, damage 2, 24 inches range. Okay, so nothing terribly crushing there, but respectable. Characters like this aren't usually supposed to be all that big on the shooting. Melee weapons. He has Dracnin, Devastating Wounds, Melee, attacks 8, Wisdom, Weapon Skill 2 up, Strength 14, AP minus 4, damage 3. So there's your anti-tank, anti-monster weapon, the sword, and his Talon. Devastating Wounds also, attacks 14, Weapon Skill 2, Strength 7, AP minus 3, damage 1. War Master. Okay, so what's he got for the war? Okay, he can select one of these abilities on the left each turn. He's also got Deep Strike, Leader, and Dark Pacts, and he's a 4-pin vault. Dark Destiny. Oh, and you get a CP every time you successfully pass a leadership test for Dark Pacts. Okay, it's weird that they say does not fail. They should say succeeds on. I don't like that. That's awkward phrasing. But a minor nitpick. Okay. Paragon of Hatred. He can do reroll hits for Astartes within 6. I thought auras were going away. It's not thrilled to see them making a comeback, because that means there's going to be more auras down the road. I wish they would have just cleanly gotten rid of that if they were going to get rid of it. Although I suppose less of them is better. The problem with auras is really that they just take time to measure in a lot of cases. Okay. Mark of Chaos Ascendant. When a friendly Heretic Astartes infantry or Heretic Astartes mounted units within 6, they have a 4-pin vault. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Lord of the Traitor Legions. The Heretic Astartes is within 6 of this motto. You can reroll Leadership Battle Shock. Okay, so you can pick any of those. So you could actually hand out reroll Leadership on the Dark Pacts, I guess. It doesn't make any exceptions for that. Abbadon is a rare character. He bestows powerful aura abilities on nearby allies even while leading a unit, and can choose which of them to apply every turn. Appropriate with the one who cast odds and open contempt. His Dark Destiny lets him generate a command point every time he seals a Dark Pact and prevails in the resulting battle of wills. The ruinous powers are just another cool in his grand ambition for the galaxy, whatever that is. Okay. Yeah, overall, strong, solid character. He's going to be very useful. I mean, I'm not going to be playing him. He's a Black Legion guy. I refuse to get him and just have him running around with Night Lords. But I think if you're a Black Legion player, or if you're just a Chaos player who does choose to have him, I don't object to anybody else doing that. He's going to be pretty fun. He'll be pretty handy. Okay, weapons spotlight. Chaos Space Marines are known for their desire to let the galaxy burn, and wield profane weapons warped over millennia or crafted in infernal forges for just that purpose. The notorious Baleflamer has been the bane of heavy infantry since Helldrake's first darkened the skies, and it returns more reliable than ever with more shots and the new ability to ignore cover. Okay. Baleflamer ignores cover and torrent, so auto-hitting. 12-inch range, attacks D6 plus 3. That is pretty great. Strength 6, AP minus 1, damage 2. That's amazing. That's better than the current Ministorum Heavy Flamer. Yeah, auto-hitting, that's going to be a really good thing to have. I hope that Lord Discordant gets to keep it. And likewise, the Fleshmetal guns that sprout from Obliterators receive profile tweaks and a scattering of new weapon abilities to help each profile stand out even more for its specific job, whether that's melting vehicles at close range or shredding hordes of plenty. Okay, so you can get Focused Malice, which has Melt to 2, so you get plus 2 damage within half range. 24-inch range, so that's longer than the multi-melt and the melter rifles have now. Attacks D3, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 12, AP minus 3 damage 4. Those are outstanding. Not quite as much AP as Melta, but overall I would say that's a very strong profile. Ruinous Salvo, Blast. Range 24 inches, D6 attacks, ballistic skill 3 up, strength 8, AP minus 2 damage 2. And then you got War Hail, which gives you sustained hits. Also 24-inch range, D6 plus 3 attacks, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, AP minus 1, damage 1. and you select a profile. I don't know if this is by model or by unit. I guess we'll find out. And strategem. 5 of the 6 stratagems available to Slave of Darkness Detachment gain extra effects when targeting a unit blessed by one of the gods or those devoted to Chaos Undivided. All squads can take refuge behind unnerving warpones with dark obscuration, for instance, but Nurgle blesses his faithful children with especially thick clouds of fetid fog obscuring their purposeful advance. Okay, so this is one of their 6 stratagems. Okay, so you're going to have one that's extra beneficial for each Chaos mark, which I guess are still going to be there, and you're going to have one for Chaos Undivided, and I guess one that is just generic to all of them. Okay. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an opponent is selected as attacks, one Heretic Astartes from your army is selected as a target one or more attacking units attacks. Until the end of the phase, your unit has the stealth ability. So I guess stealth is going to probably be a hit modifier, I would guess. In addition, if your unit is a Nurgle unit, until the end of the phase, your unit can only be selected as a target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is in the 12. That's great for getting up the board if your opponent has a lot of long-range shooting. I can see this being really handy for pushing things like Terminators up the board. Okay. How does one pledge themselves to a specific god in their boons exactly? That's also part of the detachment for Slaves to Darkness Detachment. Makes it easier than ever before, but you'll need to wait for the sinister details. The word from the studio. Chaos Space Marines are hungry for power and destruction. That's what inspired their army rule. Dark Pacts, explains Robin from the Warhammer Design Studio. With them, the Chaos Marines are granted a boon of power, but such power comes at a price. The Slaves to Darkness Detachment further explores this relationship between the Heretic Astartes and the Chaos Gods, granting your forces different powers depending on their patron deity. The datasheets for Chaos Space Marines are less cooperative or synergistic than their Imperial counterparts. Rather, they are more about the selfish use of power to destroy their foes. Okay. And from the Black Library, I guess they want you to read about Fabius Bile, his omnibus, and this book, the Night Lord's omnibus, which I just got. I'm going to be reading the Night Lord's book. I'm pretty excited about it. Those are my guys, and it's nice to see the Night Lords getting the direct attention, not just the book itself, but being highlighted rather than Black Legion or Emperor's Children for once, or one of the 3 or 4 more specialty legions. Okay, a few of the Heretic Astartes had their tales told as well as the Night Lords across 3 novels by Aaron Dembski Bowden, now collected in a chunky omnibus edition. Soul Hunter, Blood Reaver, and Voidstalker. Following a battle warband guided by prophetic visions as they battle loyalists, the Eldari of Oathway, and their own traitorous kin. Machinations of a devilish brilliant scientist are more your jam. The adventures of Fabius Bile are a fascinating one of the worst excesses of the Chaos Space Marines. Yes, that is him. Fabius Bile, the Omnibus by Josh Rerolls, contains 6 novellas and short stories following the Clone Lord across the galaxy. He continues his quest to create the next evolution of mankind. Want to learn more about Factions of Warhammer 40,000, their rules, and head to our Faction Focus Hub now. Check out more from our ongoing series. Okay, I guess we're going to have Necrons. And Astra Militarum will be out soon. Well, anyhow, that's all I have for right now on the Chaos Marines. Thanks for watching. Once again, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and click the notifications bell for more stuff here from Wilderness Wargaming, and I will see you guys again very soon.